I'm sitting in Connecticut one Saturday afternoon, and I'm watching the NBA All-Star Weekend. So I'm chilling. Just got off the phone with Jack Lanza to go over some finishes. I was booking the house shows at that time for WWE, and we were on a pretty good roll. Thanks to some cats like Stone Cold and The Rock, who kind of got over. It makes all the bookers look really smart because the talent got over, and boy, were they over. So I'm watching TV this Saturday afternoon, the NBA All-Star game, and I see this massive black man. He was 400 pounds, and he dunked the damn ball at the NBA All-Star Weekend in Phoenix, I think it was. So I called Vince McMahon immediately on the phone and said, of course I know he didn't watch it, he ain't watching nothing. Hey Vince, I just watched the NBA. Check out this kid. This big black kid is 400 pounds, he's dunking a goddamn basketball. We gotta sign him. Vince said, oh, calm down, JR. But I saw magic in this kid. And then as time went on and we finally hired him, I fell in love with him because he was my kind of guy. He loved the business, he cared, and God Almighty was he an amazing athlete. The strongest man in the entire world. No BS. This ain't no some wrestling hype story. This is real. This is real in the standpoint that no one ever lifted more weight than this man. And he's our guy. Who all started with a dunk of a basketball at the NBA All-Star game. And I'm so happy that we signed him. I fell in love with the guys I mentioned, and that's what happens sometimes when you get too close to your talents. I've been accused at times by some talents who didn't make it that I wasn't on JR's list. I feel so sorry for you that you feel that way. Boo fucking who. Pick your ass up and make yourself relevant. How's that? So this kid is a winner. I love him. He's a great representative of the wrestling business. He is a broadcaster of amazing success on Sirius XM, now channel 156 on the radio. I love this show. He and Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray, Bubba Dudley, and others, Tommy Dreamer. They do a great job in representing our business every Monday through Friday on the radio. So to introduce my boy, Mark Henry is another of my boys. And I apologize, D-Lo, right now for giving you that gimmick of the chest protector on your crossbody, on your frog splash. I apologize for that idea. But it seemed to be some of us thought it was a good idea at the time. Nonetheless, please welcome the very talented D-Lo Brown to end up Mark Henry. The Iron Mike Award.
Good evening, all. JR, before we get started, I am damn proud to claim you as someone who signed me, and I will claim you for the rest of my damn life. I'd like to give a hand to all the presenters and all the recipients tonight. I'd like to give a hand to the CAC. This is a hell of an organization. And I'd like to give a thanks to my wrestling family, my WWE family, and now my new CAC family. So when Mark gave me a call, he goes, hey D-Lo, would you like to help present this award to me? I immediately said, thank you, it's an honor, Mark. I can't wait, so I hung the phone up and I started writing stuff down. No, I can't tell that story. No. I wrote something else down. No, I can't tell that story either. Shh, kayfabe. And then I finally just tore the piece of paper up and I just said, Mark doesn't want some script. He wants his friend of 20 plus years just talk about how much he meant to me in my life and how much he meant to the world of professional wrestling. So it was a night in a strip club in New Orleans. Sorry, Mark, I had to get that in. But seriously, the first time I met Mark, we were rolling around doing pre-show wrestling practice in a WWF ring. And Mark came down there and we started locking up. He grabbed me and Lord, I thought as a 5-year-old kid my dad was holding me because he grabbed me a lot harder than any man should ever grab another man in his life. And I said, loosen up, kid, don't you know it's a work? And he smiled and goes, well, that was easy. I was like, oh Lord, I'm in trouble. And then as fate would have it, we got put together in the nation. We got surrounded by guys like Ron Simmons, the Godfather, Charles Wright, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
And then Mark and I got tied together as a team. And a funny thing happened, we weren't friends when it started, but instantly we started traveling together on the road. We started bonding, not only in the ring, but hell, driving 300 miles from, Pittsburgh to Cleveland. We'd chill in the same hotel room, we'd tell stories. And somewhere along the line, I started thinking of Mark not just as a comrade in wrestling, but as the brother I didn't have. And what great thing it is to travel around the world with a dude you actually love being around and enjoying this professional wrestling business and then going out there in front of thousands every night and entertaining them and coming back and looking each other in the face going, damn, we did good. Mark taught me a lot of things in this world. He taught me how to be kind and benevolent. He taught me how to be a professional. He taught me how to think of things bigger than yourself. I tell the story all the time. Mark's the kind of guy, he will give you the shirt off his back. And if you don't take it, he will knock you out and put it on you. That's the kind of guy Mark Henry is. And I can go through all the wrestling stuff. We know that. We are all wrestlers here. We know what he has done in wrestling. What you don't know is the man. I've sat at his mama's table in Silsbee, Texas. When I needed a place to stay, I got reassigned to HWA in Cincinnati, Ohio. I go, Mark, man, I'm living in this damn extended stay. Mark goes, hold on. Hangs up the phone, calls back, goes, all right, I want you to drive to this address. It was a house he owned. And he goes, you can live there rent free. That's what Mark is. Mark's the kind of guy you hope you can be and hope you can live up to be and never ever let down. And Mark, I will tell you this, I love you from the bottom of my heart. And you once told me that you learned so much from me in wrestling. That stuff in the ring is nothing because I learned so much more from you. And with that, I'm not going to take too much time because, the clock's going and I'm doing the short match here. I'm getting the TV match in. It is my great honor, Mark, my privilege. I know, give me the Lanza, I got it. It is my privilege and pleasure to present you with the CAC Iron Mike Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Hannibal.
Boy, 1995.
I'll tell you, brother.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
You almost made me cry. It's my job, bro. It's my game. Whose script is this? I got somebody's script up here.
Ain't mine, brother. That's Vince's script.
No pronouns. How is everybody doing? You bet your ass I am. D-Lo was, he wasn't gonna say it, but you know, I'm gonna start it off. I wasn't even gonna start like this, but Sex with Chocolate was not a gimmick. No, hell no. Yes, but Sex with Chocolate got retired. Now I traded Sex with Chocolate in for a beautiful wife and kids, and my wrestling history has been that of stuff you would only could write about in a book. I am so happy to be here today receiving this award, but I can't talk about myself too much because this business is not a one-man business. If you don't have anybody to lock up with, you stand in the ring playing with your pud. It's about the guy that stands across from you. And I've had the best guys. I mean, I got to be in the ring with Ric Flair, Undertaker, man, The Rock. So many guys that being in the Hall of Fame is a wonderful thing. But there are greats in our business that supersede and transcend our business. And my first match was with one of them, Jerry Lawler. And he's still wrestling. Damn! How is that humanly possible? We need to get your DNA. I think you got some of that super soldier serum in you. But Jim Ross, he was definitely right. He was one of those that was saw me on television and said that I was made for this business. Vince thought I was made for this business, and they were both right. I was meant to be a wrestler. From the time that my grandmother took me, JR said, don't cry. But my emotions make me strong. I was the kid that if you fought and I started crying, everybody should run. I was more powerful when I was angry. I was more powerful when I was emotional. And every time that I got an injury, I got to feel that emotion. And Jim Ross said it best. Guys come into business and they blame the business when they don't succeed. They blame the business when they get hurt. They blame everybody but themselves. Every time I left this business, I came back better. Not because I was just that guy. Shut up, I got the microphone. Not because I was that damn good, but because when I was at home, I was studying and trying to figure out what was the next thing that could make me more complete as an in-ring performer. And that thing is history. And history is the most valuable thing we have. And I wasn't a history major, but I tell you what, I wish I would have been. Because in this business, learning history taught me that there was a black guy that wrestled in 1874. He was a slave. but he wrestled. Virtual Small, Black Slam. It taught me that the president on our nickel, Abraham Lincoln, wrestled in the circus. Fast forward to the 40s. John Cosper, that was up here earlier, wrote a book about a man named Jim Mitchell, the guy that broke the color barrier. And you know what, there's no disrespect for Bobo Brazil. Bobo Brazil was one of my favorite inspirations in the business because of his ability to entertain. And there's only been one other guy I think that was able to entertain like Bobo Brazil. His name is Dwayne Johnson. And you can put Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan in that conversation of being the most entertaining guys, and you would be right in every count. They were all great. But talking more about history, the history of wrestling is that of storytale, fairy tales. You got giants. You got evil, evil, evil men. And one of those evil men was Kevin Sullivan. As a little kid, man, I was so scared of Kevin Sullivan. Golly, you talk about fearful. And I get the opportunity to stand in the room with him. And we talk about this whole women's movement. Throughout history, the women have played an unbelievable role in pro wrestling. Yeah. When we stand here and we talk about Miss Jarrett and we talk about Atta's mom, like there have been powerful women in this business. None more powerful than the boys' wives. I know there's some guys out there that are scared of their wives as much as I am. I'm like, can I get a witness? Oh, man. And, you know, Mr. Kozak, I've studied so many tapes, and I know who you were. And that, man, that age of wrestling was different. We talk about guys knowing how to work now. Those guys didn't just know how to work, they knew how to fight. They defended our business in a time of kayfabe. A lot of people we don't practice that no more, we're entertainment. But for the guys in here that's a lot older than me that wrestled, that fought, thank you. And a lot of people shit on David Schultz. But I want to thank you. Where's David? He left? That's probably good because he might come up here and say something else. But David defended this business. You say my business is fake, I will slap your face. And I had a guy that I respect, and I've noticed his talent for a long time, and that's Nick Alders. Nick Alders is an unbelievable talent. A guy that a lot of people, they see him more in spurts, but I wish I could see him every night. I wish he was working 4 days a week, primetime TV, because he's just that damn good. And we share something. Nick and I share something.
and we talk about Dory, being able to introduce Dory and bring Dory up here, I'm gonna tell y'all about a camp that I was in called the Funkin' Dojo.
Get him, Mark.
There was myself. There was a guy by the name of, you know him as Edge. There was a guy by the name of, that you know him as Christian. The Hardy Boys. 5 Hall of Famers in one camp.
Who signed those bastards?
Jim Ross signed them, but Dory trained us. Thank you, Dory. Which brings me more back to history again. I got a chance after getting my ass kicked because I wanted to fight everybody rather than learn how to work. I got sent to Canada. I took my whooping. But while I was taking that whooping, I got to train in the heart dungeon. I got to train with a guy named Leo Burke from Nova Scotia. Trained Bad News Brown and a bunch of other tough dudes. And Leo was tougher than all of us. There was a point where Andrew Martin, God rest his soul, was one of the guys that was in the training camp with me up there. And I busted his nose, just split him wide open. Sorry, D-Lo, I got D-Lo too.
It's okay, I'm still recovering.
Sorry, boys. And Leo said, "Come on, man, it's not the way you treat your guys that's working with you. He gave you his body." Come here, D-Lo. Come on. All right, Jim, come here. I stole this from Dory.
Just don't hurt me, brother.
And he bent me over. And he said, "This is how you throw a working punch." And he hit me as hard as he could in the nose. And blood just pouring out of my face. And I was like, "Dear God, why would you do that?" He said, "Well, you did it." He said, "Learn how to work." I spent about an hour punching a shower curtain that turned into 5 hours a week, that turned into 20 to 30 hours a month to learn how to work and not hurt the people that I was across from. It's important for the young people that work. You see this, you have got to protect the people that you stand across from. Somebody said it earlier, we all we got. That is 100% the truth. And in this journey, I got into reading wrestling novels and wrestling books. And Luthez had a book called The Hooker. I don't know if you got it, but you should get it. It is really, really, really good. And I was listening to the stories from Dory and other guys that have come up here before me and talked about Luthez and the business of wrestling, not just the performance of wrestling. And I was like, wow, that's how I want to be remembered. He was special. And if Luthez was your trainer, he was mine too. And D-Lo said it, you know, we know about me wrestling and what I've done, and that's a great thing, and I hope that my kids love it and admire it when I'm no longer here. But the Cauliflower Alley Club is designed so we all can live forever. In 1965, when Mike Mazurki was the co-founder and created this concept, I wonder if he knew that he was like, you know what, how can I last another 54 years? He was successful. We're talking about him today. 54th anniversary of them creating something for all of us. He created that for us. We all we got. And I didn't write a speech. I feel like I can get in front of my family and talk candidly and not have to have a script to follow. But when you're talking about history, it pretty much leads you in the right direction. You just have to follow a chronological order. And when you do that, you'll end up in the right now. And the right now leads us all to the point of how are we going to make this better than Mike intended? We've got to get younger. It's got to get younger. And I talked to Brian Blair, and thank you, Brian, and the committee for allowing me to be able to stand before you all. But I think there was a greater director in getting me to this point, and that's my God, my Savior, Jesus Christ. And I think with adding a little spirit in something always helps. And to get younger and to try to create a time where it could get more interesting for our young people. And I have some ideas. And I've gotten by not just on my charm and good looks. Kind of pat myself on the back and break my own hand, but I consider myself to be a smart guy, to be a thinking guy, to be a guy that don't complain a lot, but tries to figure out how to solve the problem. How do we fix it? We got to make it fun. We got to invade Las Vegas weeks before this event and do grassroots marketing. We got to get out in the community here. There's about 100 organizations in this city that don't know we're here. It's got to be fixed. We got to put on a show that can fill up the arena like the ones that I've competed in and performed in over the years. How do we get arena filled with 15,000 people? If we can fill an arena that size, we can make about 200, 300 grand in a weekend. A lot of people could be helped with that money. And just like Jim, I'm not here to take, I'm here to give. Now, I'll give $1,000 to Jim, to the Cauliflower Auto Club. I mean, we're in Vegas, we gotta gamble a little bit, right? You know? But guys, we have to think. We can't just wait on everybody else to do it. I'm sure that some of you are sitting right now like, wow, I got an idea. Call Brian. Let's try to implement some programs and get this stuff done. There's no reason that it shouldn't be. Jim got up here and he said a lot of things I'm not gonna say. My mama she would pop me so hard if I cuss like that. Potty mouth. But we're both on the same side. We both got each other's back. We all we got. So all of that being said, we've got to do a better job. We got to do a better job. And I'm going to end because Jerry Lawler just did this. I love Jerry, I don't want to make him mad at me. Guys, we all gotta love each other. We gotta support each other. We're family, we're gonna fight, we're gonna argue. It don't mean we don't love each other, we don't respect each other. It just means that we have a disagreement, we gotta figure it out. Are we gonna figure it out? Y'all convinced me with that. Are we gonna figure it out? All right, guys, thank y'all so much. I'm glad to accept the award, and I look forward to seeing y'all next year.
Yeah.